It's April 3rd, 2017. Common question I always get this time of year is, when can I start planting? And honestly, I look less at calendar date than I do as far as what's going around me, as far as what's Mother Nature telling me. When's the trees starting to take on some leaves? And not just willows and pears, they get their leaves early, but even maples when they're starting to bud and starting to take on some leaves. So I look at Mother Nature, it's telling me that things are probably about right. Usually when your grass needs mowed for the second time. And my kids just mowed last Wednesday. We set the mower deck at 3 1/4 inches deep, and it's time to be mowing again. I had an agronomist I used to train under that said, when you can go to the back 40 and sit down with your pants off for about 10 minutes, then it's probably about time you can get started. Obviously, we want ground conditions to be good, not too wet. The worst thing we could do is let the sins of the planting season haunt us all year, so we never want to smear corn in. The other thing I look at is, what's that 5 to 7 day forecast tell me? And for Evansville, Indiana, this week, on Wednesday, they've got about a 20-degree drop in temperature coming with rain. And the last thing we want is for the very first water that corn seed imbibes to be really cold, and that's where you get that chilling effect, and you rupture cells and you don't get even emergence. So with that in the forecast, I'm going to hold off at least a few more days. And then how long does it take for corn to emerge? Really, that's based on heat units, and it's based on heat units for emergence as far as soil temperatures. So we take that high temperature and the low temperature, we divide by 2 and then subtract off 50. Now, you can never go higher than 86, and you can never go lower than 50. So this morning, about 9 o'clock in the morning at the Evansville Research Station, I put the soil probe in the ground 2 inches deep, and I had a temperature reading of 57 degrees. So we're hovering around that 60-degree mark. So I take 60 plus 50, divide by 2 is 55, subtract off 50. So we're getting about 5 heat units a day at current soil conditions. So it typically takes about 100 to 120 GDUs to get corn out of the ground. So with these kind of ground conditions, it's going to take us 20 days to get corn out of the ground. This is a DeKalb seed finder. You can get these from your dealer or your rep. One thing I always try to do is I always try to plant corn at 2 inches deep. It gives you a little insulation layer. It gets those roots established right where you want them to. The only time I would ever really go deeper is, in some sands where I know I'm going to have really good drainage